You are live on YouTube and happy Thankful Thursday, Merry Christmas, Happy Holy Days. Turn this mic over to you all.
Well,
You
good.
Merry Christmas, Happy Holy.
Oh, okay. So, good morning. Thankful Thursday. Thankful Merry Christmas. Oh, I'm so grateful for Christmas. I love the Christmas season. One of my friends said, "Are you into Christmas?" And I said, "Oh, yes, every year. I've always been into Oh Holy Night and fall on my knees and I just feel my heart expand. And for many, many years, I guess since being introduced to Unity in 1986, um, so 40, no, yeah, 40 years ago. So Unity woke me up to the idea that the Christ is in every one of us. Excuse me. And then, of course, the Course in Miracles continues that theme that it wasn't just Jesus who became the Christ, it's all of us who are the Christ already by our recognition of it. So, um, this year I wrote to him and I said, yeah, I've always had felt like, oh, yeah, the Christ is reborn in me as as the Christ child every year, but this year it feels different. Now it just feels like, no, the Christ has been in me, is me, it abides in, I abide as the Christ, and the flame is just burning brighter this season, which is a shift from thinking, oh yeah, letting go of not Christ to get to Christ. But it's like, no, just expanding what is, and that feels beautiful and wonderful. So I've got to be drinking here my hot tea because I just woke up. I didn't want to forget this again. So I set two alarms and I woke up to the alarm. I was surprised. I slept a long time. I slept really well. That silent night, holy night. So good morning. I didn't say good morning to Dove and to Mickey, but I'll say good morning to you guys too. I already said good morning to Deb. So today's lesson is 359. God's answer is some form of peace. All pain is healed, all misery replaced with joy, all prison doors are opened, and all sin is understood as merely a mistake. So, this all prison doors are opened. Back in the review of, I think it's review of lesson 33 or something, but it's lesson 57, I believe. It's a review and it talks about the prison doors and how this world is a prison. And then it says, and you can walk out of the prison just by doing so. You can just leave. Sorry, got to keep taking the tea. Um, so anyway, I've told this story before, but when I first read that, it was back in 2003 or 2004. And uh, Rod was working down in the woods, and I was on our deck reading it. And I ran down to the woods and I said, "Look, Rod, look. Even the Course says this world is a prison." Because I had been, well, my whole life pretty much like, this world sucks. And that's where A Course in Miracles saved me, because it said God didn't do this to us. Because how could I trust a God that would make a world like this? Anyway, and I do think there are many, many, many beautiful things in the world, including all of you and this beautiful venue of ACIM Gather. But anyway, so I ran down to the woods. See, even the Course says this world's a prison. I'm right. And I completely missed the part in that lesson that said, and you can walk out of the prison. So I stayed in that prison for about another 10 years until I determined that I was done with depression. But I hadn't gotten to this lesson yet, 359, way down the road. All prison doors are opened. And now it's so wonderful and interesting that once I find myself in prison, it's like what, seconds. And then it's like, whoops, in the ego thought system, shift, change, choose again, and quickly go back to truth, except for those ego attachments. You can tell what your ego attachments are, your biggest fears, when you stay stuck in it and then you don't realize it for, minutes, hours, or days. And it's like, oh, wow, that one pulled me under and pulled me in and blinded me so much that I couldn't get out. So, all sin is understood as merely a mistake instead of a terrible sin that we did. We did something horrible. We did something wrong. Nope. And Scott Kallichstein, he used to be Kallichstein, now he's Scott Grace, made this great little song. And maybe you've heard it. Oops, I made a mistake. And I'm beautiful. Yes, I'm beautiful. I think he says it, you're beautiful. You made a mistake and you're beautiful. Oops, I made a mistake and I'm beautiful to me. Well, I've taught that to my grandchildren and they sing it all the time. It's like, oh, you dropped your milk on the floor. Oops, I made a mistake. And it's so cute. And to teach that to them, that they'll do something and their face falls, in that kind of shame thing. And I just start singing that, or they'll start singing it. But if I start singing it before they do, their face just lights right back up. And it's so wonderful to know that they have that. And Ken says about this lesson, this is the happy result when we realize we are the ones who were mistaken all along and the Holy Spirit was right. Yes, the Holy Spirit was right. This world is not a prison. That's what has shifted for me this year. So if I could say, looking back on the year, which by the way, I will not be here next Thursday on New Year's Day because that's my first day in Mexico and I will probably be sleeping at this time. I get in the night before. I get in there on New Year's Eve. So I'm hoping I can get to the town square before the midnight time, but we'll see. Anyway, so looking back on the year and just saying, wow, even though every day is a holy day and every day is a holy instant, every moment's a holy instant, and I'm living in the present moment. So in one sense, looking back on the year is reinforcing time. But to say that one of the things that seems to have happened is letting go of my grievance on the world finally. I mean, I've been trying to do that for 20 years and there are still some stuff there probably, but when it arises, I'm like, no, not going there, because when I came out of the dark night of the soul a couple months ago, the two things that did it were like, I am just done with bitching and moaning about this world, which I've said for 20 years. Stop it. Stop complaining about the world. And then also I was done with being angry about the way Rod died. So, of course, he didn't die. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to Sharon.
Good morning. So we are at 3:59, right? 3:59 is I love what you shared, Lorri. And I will not be here starting Tuesday, Lynn. I hope you're listening because I'll be going to North Carolina to see my sister-in-law for New Year's. So we will not be in town. So I won't be on here. Just letting everybody know. So this is Ken's teaching. We have misunderstood all things, but we have not made sinners of the holy sons of God. In the insanity of separation, we believed in the reality of our existence. How many of you believe in that still?
I don't.
Okay. Yeah, you just have to say, I don't know. But I will say that, it's time to really change gears and just be in who you really are. Because, the freedom is knowing you're not this person. The freedom is knowing that you've never done anything wrong. And the freedom is knowing you're really not the person. You are the one that's watching the person. What did she write here, Mickey? Let's just see what Mickey wrote. Oh, Sharon, you'll be here just when I'm leaving for. Oh, you're leaving for the mountains. Yes. I was going to call you and tell you that. Oh, I won't see you this time. Well, when I go again, I'll let you know. But in any case, I did meet Mickey once, and that was wonderful. And Lorri, I know. Dove, I physically haven't met, but I have met Lynn. And I don't know, Deb, I haven't met yet, but we're hoping that we will all join and come to a place where we could all be together in form. But, you know, when you really give it your heart, you realize it doesn't matter if you see your brother as a person, because the truth is they're not people. They're the voice that's talking, that voice that keeps talking and talking, the one that either complains or the one that just is excited because it realizes it's free. But it's not the same voice, because one is of the Holy Spirit and one of them is the ego. But the freedom is in knowing that nothing has ever happened. Now, to this day, I have no clue why I said to a friend of mine that nothing ever happened. This was 20 years ago. But I would believe that my right mind knew that, just like the right mind is guiding us right here, right now. You know, we are really just mind. If we think we're these bodies, good luck, because the body is hard to transcend because it's got a presence and it's got form, and it's blinding all of us when we believe that this is a real world, you know. I don't know how I felt about the world as a child. I don't think I even knew what I felt like. I think I just loved Christmas time. And Christmas time was when I was a little girl, it was really special with my father. He made a big deal over it. And both my parents really did. They made a lot of joy on Christmas, but my grandparents had a drugstore, and it was nobody here's from Philly, so you wouldn't know it's in Germantown, but it was a lot of fun. I would work there with my grandparents, volunteer, you know, just at the cash register, pretending to be a big girl. I might have been 8 years old, but I absolutely felt that. And I would say to my dad, why is it that everybody's so happy now? Why can't they always be happy? Why can't they always be happy? Well, you know, there is definitely a reason why we can't always be happy, because when we're in the wrong mind, we are officially in hell. There's nothing about it that's good. It's insecure. It hates everyone. And those hidden hates are hidden, and they're coming out for this mind recently. But the hidden hates have always been me. They've never been anything but me. Because, you know, I took seriously the Carl Jung video that I am only really having relationship with myself, which is my psyche. So when somebody abandons me, I abandon me. When somebody angers me, I did that to me. Why? Because to be in a jail like the ego and to believe that you're stuck here in that mind that is constantly looking for relief, that's hell. That's hell. This is joy. This is our natural state. It's complete joy and grace, and we live with this grace. So he's saying, we again see our joyous gratitude in being wrong. Now that is the gift. You know, Helen Hamilton had a book, you know, I'm sorry, I was always wrong. And she was wrong because she thought she was the person, wrong because she thought everybody here were people. You know, and it says here, we see our joyous gratitude in being wrong, seeing our delusional mistakes of betraying love, rejecting, attacking, and destroying it, accomplishing nothing. God loves us. Jesus loves us. Nothing has changed. For the Christ in it remains sinless forever, with our mad dreams of sin having no effects upon reality. See these two statements from the text. Son of God, you have not sinned, but you have been mistaken. You know, when I first heard this from Marianne Williamson, she would say, "You missed the mark." I couldn't stop listening to her. You know, I turned 50 and my son had gotten me her library because he knew that I kept saying, "Listen, I'm Jewish, but I don't have like a deity like Jesus, right?" So I want to know who God is because I didn't realize that God was really us. I didn't have a clue that God was us. And it takes years, at least for this mind, to really realize what are we running away from? We're running away from the highest you can possibly be, God consciousness. We are the one, we are the seeing, we are the hearing, we are the listening, we are the creators of the dream, we are the dreamer. And the past is just a psychological, it is always just me. It's never been anyone but me. I have projections, but those projections that seemingly hurt me were reinforcing what I already believed. That was really why it's our savior. That's why everything is our trigger. The trigger is basically telling you you are believing something that is simply not true. Only the truth is true. How many times do we hear that in the Course in Miracles, right? Forgiveness allows us to recognize the impossibility of sin. It rests on solid base, the reflection of God's love in the right minds, while our perceptions of bodily sin, attack, and pain rest on no base at all. They are all illusory, their purpose being to defend against the mind's illusion of sin and separation. Yet illusions bring us no peace, and so we happily choose the Holy Spirit's forgiveness, the doorway to the real world of light, peace, and joy, our home away from home. And that's all we want to do is be home, right? Because as far as, you know, being the Christ, that's just simply saying we are God. Really, or a part of God, right? Because we're really just broken glass in a kaleidoscope of just images of just different stories. And our stories are so fun if you know they're meaningless. But when we take them seriously, it becomes a hard, a harsh lesson. Because when you look around, even right now, what's going on in our world, it is moving into a different paradigm. It has to be. There's nothing so blinding as form. So we are going to be raising our consciousness. And I was listening to, the thing that's going on with AI right now is becoming very big. The information that by 2030, Greg Braden said, it'll be all AI. I could have misunderstood that. But what he's basically saying is, we're really in a very, very great time to be born. Because the world right now is in changing. It's changing what it is. Even though it's changed for us, the students of A Course in Miracles, it's changing for everyone. There won't be as much, you won't need as much as you think you need because there'll be AI right there. You won't have to worry about how smart you are either because you just have to learn how to use AI. Now, how do I feel about that? I really don't know. I don't know. I think that I'm the seer, and if I'm the seeing, I'll watch it. But if I think I have to do something, then I'm back in with the doer when there really isn't a doer. The doer is the highest consciousness, just doing all of it, bringing us right back to the center of quiet, the center of silence. So I want to wish everybody a happy holiday, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. Most Happy New Year, because I won't be here next week. So with that, I'm going to pass. Thank you, Doug. Here you go.
Okay, thank you so much, Sharon and Lorri. I don't have my camera on. That's only because yesterday was a day from hell. Really, my monitor literally died, and I thought all I had to do was to go to Best Buy and get a new monitor. I was wrong. That's when my problems began, when I found out it's a lot more than that. You gotta get the monitor to work on your computer. It wasn't until 2 o'clock in the afternoon I got it to work. So I didn't even have a camera anymore. Anyway, it's Christmas. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a blessed day. Gloria sent me a blessing this morning. She says, Dov, you are blessed. And I said, we're all blessed, because I remember Lynn's birthday is lesson number 40. And lesson 40 simply says, I am blessed as a son of God. Yeah, it's also the anniversary of my wife's passing. She passed on, it's February 9th. That's Lynn's birthday. So lesson 40, and I've always looked at the number 40 as a very mystical number. I mean, it's repeated in the Bible so many times. I don't have to go through all the times it's repeated in the Bible. But 40 is a mystical number. Yep. Even the Kabbalah doesn't allow you in until you're 40 years old. Can you imagine that? At 40, you become wisdom of God, according to the Kabbalah. That's when you can enter. So we're going to take a look at lesson 40. I am blessed as a son of God. Today we will begin to assert some of the happy things to which you are entitled. Being what you are entitled to be happy. Oh, really? Imagine. I was reading something from John Lennon. When he was young, his mother said, the purpose of life is happiness. And then when he went to school, they said, no, the purpose of life is to grow and become something and rich. And he said, no, I think you're mistaken. The purpose of life is happiness. So he remembered what his mother told him. And that's the truth, because the Course tells you very simply in lesson 101, 102, 103, God's will for me is perfect happiness. And that's my will, is perfect happiness. And God being love is also happiness. So happiness is really Christmas. Christmas and happiness are the same. So it says, if you forget to be happy, try again. If there are long interruptions, try again. Whenever you remember, try again. So happiness is what we are. We just kind of forgot and went off on a beaten path of trying to remember why I'm here. I put on the chat something that Rupert Spiro just put out on YouTube just a few minutes ago about the meaning of Christmas. He doesn't say the meaning of Christmas is to be happy, no. He says the meaning of Christmas is the eternal birth of I am. Now, wait a minute, maybe there is some happiness. I am happiness, the eternal birth of happiness. Can you imagine that? The eternal birth of happiness. God being love is also happiness. Now, what is happiness? Happiness is peace, love, and smiling at everything, knowing that it's all perfect, exactly the way it is. Today being the 359th day of the year, And knowing how Jesus does everything perfectly in A Course in Miracles, like when it's Easter time, he's talking about Easter lilies, So I figured, what's the lesson for his birthday? Today is his birthday. Lesson 359. Yes, and he does exactly what you were talking about, Lorri. He says the prison doors are open. Can you imagine that? The prison doors are open. Yeah, of course, they're open all the time. That's where Rupert Spira gets the eternal birth of I am. So I want you to read lesson 359 as well. God's answer is some form of peace. So the goal of this course is peace. God's answer is some form of peace. All pain is healed. All misery replaced with joy. All prison doors are open. Hey. Yeah. Talking about giving everyone a pardon. Everyone is pardoned. Everyone. No one excluded to that. Everyone receives the same, equal, always. And then the lesson goes on. And all sin is understood as merely a mistake. Merely a mistake. Wow. I always love that responsibility for sight, chapter 21, section 2. He says, everything that seems to happen to me, I have asked for, and I have received exactly as I have asked. And then he says, deceive yourself no longer, that you're helpless in face of what is done to you. Acknowledge that you are mistaken. And you are free. The doors open up. So he says, Father, today we will forgive your world and let creation be your own. We have misunderstood all things. It's just simply a misunderstanding. That's all it is. But we have not made sinners of the Holy Son of God. What you created sinless, so abides forever and forever. And then he gives you a 3-word sentence, right, Zoma? A 3-word sentence. Such are we. And we rejoice to learn that we have made mistakes. It's just a simple mistake. You got to laugh. Which have no real effects on us. Sin is impossible. Sin is like separation is impossible. And on this fact, forgiveness rests upon a certain base more solid than the shadow world we see. So yeah, the accepting the atonement is the solid base that the separation never happened. And that's what salvation is. Lesson 139 and 140, I was talking to John Mundy yesterday. And we're going to be doing a thing. Believe it or not, he's planning for next Labor Day weekend already. He's going to do a thing in upstate New York. And one of the things we're going to cover is salvation. Lesson 140 says, only salvation can be said to cure. Only. I was teaching, it was on Wednesday. Yeah, that was yesterday. And Maureen was in the room. And I happened to mention 139 and 140. And 139 is about accepting the atonement. And 140 says, but wait a minute, only salvation can be said to cure. So she said to me, but she says, I hear a lot of you teachers saying that only salvation can be, then what is healing? What is healing? And actually, after looking at it, we took a look at it, and healing is a process. Yeah. Starts when you open lesson number 1. Nothing I see here means anything. If it means something, I give it all the meaning. That's a process. Yeah, sooner or later, maybe 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 60 years, maybe 2 or 3 lifetimes, I'm healed. Hey, baby. Salvation, that's a whole different story, baby. Only salvation can be said to cure, which means that you totally recognize that the separation never happened and guilt is unreal. And if guilt is unreal, you can't ever come back to feeling guilty at all, ever. It just never happened. That's what salvation is. It never happened. I think with that, I'll say Merry Christmas to all, and to all. I love you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dove. And good morning, Zulma. You're on early today. Merry Christmas. Oh, look
And the
at you,
same here.
all bright and colorful. Dove, you said that you didn't have a camera, but I saw you. You're there. So maybe you just meant yesterday.
No. I just put the camera on as I spoke.
Oh, okay. Oh, great. Okay. Well, it's good to see you. I appreciate what you were just saying about healing is a process. In time, it is a process because the ego believes in time. And then, of course, we know that it's an instant, that salvation is right here, right now. But while we have any shred of ego, which all of us do, it's a process. And the Course has a number of places where it says our function is healing. Our function in this world is healing. It also says our function is salvation. Our function is happiness. Our function is forgiveness. It says a whole bunch of different things, but all words for the same thing. Just like you said, Christmas is another word for happiness. And I love that. Lately, I've been saying every cell in my body is joyful and happy because I know that I am the perfection of God. And when I say that, it's just like I feel like I light up. I've also in the past, well, I still do it, but before I started saying every cell was joyful and doing a happy dance, I was saying I'm the light of God. I'm the love of God, and every cell in this body is the light and love of God. Oh, look at that picture of the Madonna and child. That's cool. I just love it. I just love the Christmas story. It's so beautiful. And also what you were saying, Dove, about chapter 21, section 2, responsibility for sight. You just helped me with another piece of that because I quote that a lot of times and say that it's misunderstood by people. But now I have another piece for it because of what you said about the mistakes. So let me read it. I am responsible for what I see. Well, let me back up a little bit. This is the only thing that you need do for vision, happiness, release from pain, and the complete escape from sin. We could say the complete escape from the prison, all to be given you. Say only this, but mean it with no reservations, for here the power of salvation lies. I am responsible for what I see. I choose the feelings I experience, and I decide upon the goal I would achieve. And everything that seems to happen to me, I ask for, and receive as I have asked. Deceive yourself no longer that you are helpless in the face of what is done to you. Acknowledge but that you have been mistaken, and all effects of your mistakes will disappear. So that's the piece that you brought to the fore for me, Dove. That oops, I made a mistake. So when the ego reads this, it goes, "Oh my God, I created cancer. Oh my God, I'm so horrible. What is wrong with me that I created this poverty or this illness or this war?" Or, and the way I've always answered this is look at the first line. I am responsible for what I see. So, what we are responsible for is choosing the Holy Spirit's thought system or the ego's thought system. That's what we're responsible for. We are not guilty for creating cancer, for creating murders, for creating illness, for creating poverty, or whatever awful, horrible thing, tragedy that this world comes up with, because that just heaps guilt upon guilt. I'm responsible for choosing again, for looking at it differently. And then the piece that you added for me, Dove, was, and oops, I made a mistake. I was mistaken when I thought that this horrible, god awful, terrible thing could happen to me, or that, I would think that I was an ego that made that up. And I was mistaken. And what is a mistake? But we didn't know. We didn't know better. I made a mistake. It's like I didn't have all the information, but now I do. Now I have all the information and I can choose again with my greater fund of information and knowledge and wisdom. So, yes, up to this point, we have to take responsibility. Well, we always have to take responsibility, but take responsibility for mistakenly thinking that we are people in this world, that we are these separate individuals who have done all these things that we think we've done. We haven't. We haven't. We were mistaken. And yeah, so when you said reminds me of the song you sang to your family children, and then I started singing it. Oops, I made a mistake, and I'm beautiful. Yes, I'm beautiful. Um, so yeah, it's so gentle. And isn't Christmas like that? Christmas is gentle. Christmas is loving. Christmas is saying, look, fallen world, here I come. Here I come to save the world. Here I come. And the world receives it. When you listen to the Christmas hymns of, that say that Jesus came as a light into the world to heal us, to save us, to comfort us, to show us the way. And it's that one time of year where we act, well, and also Easter when we recognize the resurrection. But the thing of, yeah, we are a fallen world. This is a world of a lot of pain and suffering, and Jesus came to take that away. And people receive it at this time of year. And so, Sharon, when you were saying to your dad, why aren't people happy all the time? Because they don't remember that all the time and they aren't focused on that all the time. But at this time of year, even our culture is like, be nice to other people, do nice things, be a secret Santa, do these happy things. And it's the most wonderful time of the year, right? And everyone's happy and loving because we focus on it, because we've decided that that's what this is. And we can decide that the whole world, I mean, every day of the year is like this. And we here in A Course in Miracles have done that. And so we can just share that and keep sharing it. And Karen sent out something this morning on giving and receiving are the same. And that's something that has become so clear to me in the last couple months. It's just like everyone is talking about giving and receiving are the same. And everything, everywhere I look, it's the same thing. And it makes me so happy because I realize that if I'm happy, then I'm giving happiness and they're receiving happiness on some level. And that's the only gift we give. The only gift we give is truth, the light, the knowledge that we are the Christ, and so is everyone. And as you said, Sharon, freedom is knowing you're not this person. So when we look at someone and we know you are the Christ, we don't have to say it. They probably don't understand it, except what I say to my grandkids. I say, do you know why Jesus was born? Why was Jesus born? Well, whose birthday is on Christmas? Yeah, Jesus. I said, well, Jesus came to show us our God self. Jesus came to show us the light. Jesus came to show us that we can be happy and that we can have beautiful lives. Try to say it in a way that they can get, but I don't even know if they get that. But so I'm going to turn this back over to you, Sharon, and just want to read quickly, Dove, what you wrote. Yes, either I made a mistake and I'm beautiful, or I made a mistake and I'm guilty. Right. I love that. I love that. So, Merry Christmas, everyone. And I can just tell from everyone's talking as we are having a Merry Christmas. This is so beautiful. Okay. Over to you, Sharon.
Thank you, Lorri. I love what you just shared. Everything that you shared was just perfect. Yeah, this is the thing about happiness. If we think we're a person and we think we're happy, there's always going to be duality. There's always going to be a downside to that, to believe that we aren't the light, because that's what we really are. I mean, the lesson tomorrow is peace be to me, the Holy Son of God, peace to my brother. Now, this lesson goes all the way to, 31st, and I think that the course was mapped out with a perfect process of undoing, and it is a process. And when somebody says something is a process, when we hear that, it means that it's ongoing. Even if, let's say, somebody would say they don't see a world anymore, whatever, they're still in the process. Why are they still in the process? Because we can't come apart from the sonship. We are all one. There's no separation. So there's no specialness in this either. The specialness, I would always have an idea that person is awake. She's a teacher, or she knows more than I do. And the whole point is you don't want to know anything. That's when you know you're really home. You don't even want to know what you are, because once you have a name of what you are, then then and in this lesson, Ken points out that in text chapter 10, the great raise comes. It's the only place in any of the course it says, in many only the spark remains, for the great rays are obscured. Yet God has kept the spark alive, so the rays can never be completely forgotten. If you but see the little spark, you will learn of the greater light, for the rays are there unseen. But the spark is still as pure as the great light, because it is the remaining call of creation. Put all your full faith in it, and God himself will answer you. There can't be anything more positive than faith, because we're going to still see people. We're going to still see things that maybe don't appeal to us. At least for me, I'm getting more and more away from the phenomena, because the phenomena is going to always show me the worst things. I don't know why I was guided to Louise Hay yesterday, but one of the things Louise would say is she didn't want to see anything that wasn't beautiful, because that would go in her mind. She wanted to keep it completely clean of all of the lower consciousness fears, the hate and everything like that. Now, I still watch stuff with my husband, and I kind of think it's benign, because I realize that it's a movie, but that's really the lesson here. What we're seeing out there is a movie. What we're seeing in the outer picture is a complete movie of us acting out the Christmas story. The crucifixion is happening constantly if we're in that egoic mind. We're crucifying who we are, the light. So he says, in this, Ken says, if I'm enamored of my personal self, and that was always something with me. I was enamored by this character. I mean, I enjoyed playing her. Sometimes. You get that? Sometimes. You can't be all that happy in form. It's going to die, right? I will continually try to attack peace and withhold it from myself and everyone else. Yet when the pain becomes too great, and this is what's happened for me, and I know Lorri has expressed that, we gladly choose the atonement that alone washes away all pain and restores God's peace to our grateful awareness. We are all light, and we have a light body, a subtle body, and that body is becoming, that's the part of us that's becoming undone, so we can get more light until we can't even see form at all. And I don't know exactly how that works, but I imagine that it's all perfect, because when my imagination is clean, when I've cleaned and done Ho'oponopono or journaling or whatever it is to clean up those subconscious stories that are coming up that were really made by our minds, the mind just gets a hold of different ideas that have happened in the past and makes a story, and that's how we get a story. And there are so many people that struggle with guilt, including all of us, until we realize that it doesn't serve us. And guilt is really like a stop. You put like a stop sign right there and say, stop. There is no one here that's guilty. No one. If it seemingly seems like people are hurting people, that is a movie. And we can treat it the way I treat a movie that I watch on the TV. Now, drama was something that this mind was attached to, but it's really saying, I'm done with conflict. I'm done with it. I'm done with drama. I don't want this anymore. I want to be free. Do I still have stuff in this mind? Absolutely. Absolutely. And I fool them every single day. But guess what? Maybe even for a couple hours sometimes. Dark night shows up in many different ways. But the dark night just means dark thoughts. Thoughts, period. They darken the light. They block it. Every thought here isn't true. So whatever we believe is not true. But happiness is not a thought. Happiness is a state of being. And it's just so beautiful to get to a place where, I realized that all of this happened perfectly for this character. Her story, her pain, everything. And that's when Grace has really come in and said, girl, you've done your work. And of course, Spirit has really done it. We do nothing. The person does nothing. But the clearing out of who we are, and to take it on and say, well, I did that. That's an egoic way of looking at it, because you don't do anything here. The whole point is you need to do nothing. You just need to realize, at least for me, that to be realized is to own it and to be it, and to realize that all of this is for us. It's a gift. Salvation is awakening. That's what I had a very big problem with the word salvation. Why, I don't know. The mind just didn't like it. Maybe because it was very Christian-y. I have no clue. But in the Course, it means awakening. It means awakening to the light, that inner light that we all are. And it's about the true self, the love, and the blocks that I get through the day. And I had a block this week of really, I could feel it, and I kept journaling and realizing that if I take 100% responsibility for everything that happens, it makes you free, because then you can say, well, I don't want it. I don't want any of it. Well, somebody could say, well, you can't help that. It comes anyway. No, it does come. But if you're not receiving it, if you're not believing that it's true, it will pass. It'll pass like a snowflake. So I just want to say once again, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. And for 2026, it's going to be a great year. I'm hearing a lot of thoughts from my ego saying, oh, no, it's going to get worse out there. And the ego is going to do that until it is not listened to, right? Because you're listening to it is a problem also. So what I did yesterday, what helped them out, was to choose again, because I want the happiness. I want the real thing. It's what the Course says, when all you see, all you want is love. Love is all you'll see, right? And that's really what's in your mind. So with that, Dove, you can close, and thank you all for listening. Dove, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. I hear you.
Okay.
Okay, I was looking for that diagram that was made. I couldn't find it on salvation. You said for some reason salvation never spoke to you. I can understand that. I know that growing up Jewish means that the word salvation has very, deep Christian roots. But lesson 140 says only. And whenever he says the word only, he wants you to listen. Only salvation can be said to cure. So basically what that's about is as Ken Wapping put it on the board, it's all about letting go of guilt. I mean, the whole course is that you are the guiltless, holy Son of God. Now, if you ever believed in guilt, either your own or somebody else's, it doesn't go away. It just doesn't go away because you once believed in it. You can't say, well, I don't believe in it anymore. So it's still there. Salvation is saying that it never happened. It never happened. That the love you are is all there is. There's no such thing as right doing and wrong doing. There is no right or wrong in heaven. There's only the oneness, the sameness. As Rupert Sparrow says, the meaning of Christmas is the eternal birth of I am. Now, the word eternal birth of I am means it's always I am now. I am now. I am now, always. It's always now. That's what heaven is, endless nows. There is nowhere does the belief, the lie of guilt ever enter. So it does take your willingness to recognize that you have two different thought systems or two different minds. I was listening to Michael Singer yesterday. Lynn was playing him during the day. He was really great. And he was coming from that somewhere in his life, somewhere in the 30s or something like that, he realized that there's a voice other than him speaking in his mind. And he started saying to people, are you aware that there's a voice speaking to you and you're listening to it? That's the beginning of realizing that you are not the ego. The ego only speaks because of the belief in guilt. Yeah. Guilt means that you've done something wrong, song, and guilt demands punishment. The ego is the punisher. But salvation says that it never happened. That's why you got to laugh now. You don't wait till later to laugh. As you laugh, it literally disappears. It literally, and that's a word I heard this morning. I forgot. I think it was Lorri who used it. But that's one of the 20 lessons that Jesus says. Any one of these 20 lessons is the whole course. I think it's I will forgive and this will disappear. I forget what lesson that is, but it doesn't really matter. I will forgive and this will disappear. So the idea of disappearance is really healing. It's go further than healing. It cures. If something disappears, it never existed. It's not a trace of it. And the course is very clear. There's no place for guilt to return to. Because if you once had guilt and then said, well, I'm not guilty anymore because I know it's all a mistake, it's a joke, it's a this, it's a that. No. The guilt is still there. And you know those times when you think that you're one with all, then all of a sudden you're not one with all anymore. There's a fear. Well, the fear comes from the belief in guilt. Now, even though you've accepted the atonement for yourself, you know, the idea that the guilt was there once, it can come home again, you know. But salvation, only salvation can be set secure. And with that, it's a merry, merry, merry Christmas to all. Zoma, we're waiting to hear you. We'll be back in an hour with any one of these 20 lessons is the entire course. Love you all.
Before we go off, excuse me, I just want to say one thing. Sharon, you had mentioned, you were reading Ken's version or his commentary and said, if I am enamored of my personal self, I will continually try to attack peace and stuff. Well, one of the things is that I love about you, Sharon, is that, oh, I'm so sorry. You're enamored of everyone in a positive way, in a loving way. You love everyone. And you said that you loved playing the character. Well, that's different than being enamored in a negative, ego attached way. And I just wanted to comment on that. You're one of the most loving, open-hearted people I know. Okay, Merry Christmas,
Thank
everyone.
you. I have to say thank you, sweet Lorri. That is the nicest thing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Merry Christmas.
Merry
Thanks,
Christmas.
Merry
On to-
Christmas.
On to Lynn to change over.
Great. Thank you guys so very much. And I see the smiley face of my beautiful friend Zilma.